Good morning, friends. How is everyone doing this Monday? Hopefully watching Wimbledon and not me. I'd rather be watching Alcaraz right now than streaming, if I'm going to be honest. Let me check the score before I get started. I've had a really busy morning doing random adult stuff, man. But yeah, hope you guys doing well. We're going to get into the Bitcoin outlook in just a minute. Cover plans, do a long Q&A. Hopefully you guys brought some good questions for me to answer this week. I love when you guys have good questions. Don't worry about, don't be scared to ask bad ones either. But I love when people come prepared with stuff that challenges me. And it's not just all, hey Doc, look at my coin. All right, Alcaraz is going 5 sets in the first round, possibly, is wild. All right, let's see what you guys got. Hey Doc, I'm improving because of you. Thanks for your amazing streams. You're a really good human. You always reply in a polite way. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I try my best. Every once in a while, I get a bad apple that hates me for no reason, but it's nice to get positive feedback as well, right? I'm doing kind of like a shift on Twitter as well, where I'm trying to be a little bit more helpful and cut down the shit posting and provide a little bit more value, like I used to, go back to the roots and go back to the origin. So hopefully you guys have been appreciating that. I've written 2 threads now. I hate writing, by the way. I really don't enjoy it, but I've written 2 of them now. Hope you guys have enjoyed those, and I'll probably write another one this week. I got 1 more in the tank. Yeah, and also sorry for being late. Need Novak to win his 25th. I don't know about that. I'll be happy with another Alcaraz and Djokovic final. 3 years in a row, that wouldn't be bad. Okay, shall we get into Bitcoin? So, shocker, guys. We are still stuck in this exact same value that we've been trading in for almost 2 months. We got in here in the beginning of May. It's almost July. Shocking, isn't it? The best trades during this time have been reversions from either the value area high to the value area low, or if you're like me and long only, the value area low to the value area high. I think they provided really good clues. As recently as last week, I think we were talking about this trade a lot last week when we were trading right at the composite value area low, and I was saying this is resistance. It is overlapping 4-hour downtrend and composite value area low. If we get back inside, we should pump pretty hard. That happened like right after I ended my stream, basically, and gave me the opportunity to close out the rest of the position at 105. I didn't hold out. I'm not going to, LARP about this or anything. I didn't hold out my position to the top. I wish I did. But I closed it right in here, right around the range POC. But nonetheless, what is the lesson here? The best trades have been coming at the extremities of value. There have been no continuation trades. There haven't been really good opportunities to position within the context of a Bitcoin trend. You're either buying the FUD or you're shorting at a premium, right? You're not getting the best quality trades as far as swings go in between. I think it's been really hard for people to position at mid-range. It's either been choppy, look to your left of your screen, or been not the best follow through, right? If you longed 105, we're at 107. You got a 2K move, but you waited, multiple days to get it, right? So it hasn't been the greatest trading opportunity in my opinion. The best swings have been coming at the extremities of value, so I hope you guys have been taking advantage of that, and I hope I've done a decent enough job at like displaying those concepts and those ideas over the past month. Other than that, where we are trading now, you guys can see pretty damn clearly. We're trading right at the composite value area high. Now, we took a couple stabs above this over the weekend. I get a lot of questions in Paragon from students that ask me about what my thoughts are on weekend moves. So I thought I might as well just share some of those thoughts on the public stream as well, so you guys know. I don't have a framework for weekend moves, meaning I don't just blindly go, oh, it's a weekend move, I'm not going to trade it. Oh, it's a weekend, I cannot take a trade. I can't open a trade. Actually, there's been multiple banger opportunities to long on Sundays. Most recently, this one was a Sunday move. I believe there's multiple in here that were Sunday moves, right? Or at least over the past couple months that were Sundays. Like this one was a Sunday, right? This the Pico bottom right here is Sunday going on Monday. This one is also Friday, Saturday, right? So there's plenty of opportunities on weekends. This move right here, this was also a Sunday, right? This was Sunday going on Monday, Monday morning, 3 a.m. So there's plenty of opportunities to take weekend longs. Just understand that the weekends are more liquid, right? There's not going to be as much volume. There's not going to be the liquidity in the books. It's going to be easier to move price, but it doesn't mean that those moves are fake or discounted or whatever. And I just think there are opportunities to trade, right? If price comes to a region that you wanted to trade anyways, and it happens on a Saturday, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but I would be taking the trade regardless. Saturday, it's Sunday, it's whatever. If it's coming into a region that I wanted to action anyways, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's a weekend. I can't open the position because it's a weekend, right? It doesn't matter to me in that sense. Okay, getting back to the point. We had a couple moves over the weekend that were very strongly perp driven. I think $500 million on Nance. Now I only watch Nance. You guys can tell me what global open interest did, but Nance open interest added like $500 million for a 1% move, right? It wasn't the most convincing move. Whenever I trade breakouts, I'm looking for shallow retraces or not perfect retests. I'm looking for people to come and chase price and get continuation, right? This almost immediately reverted right back into value. Not an opportunity to play long continuation. You got another stab at it, more of the same. What is this leading you to say once again? There's a lack of conviction from bulls to play continuation at a premium, and there's a lack of like conviction and strength from bears to get trend continuation at a discount, right? We're just playing the mean reversion game. This is pretty much what's par for the course in summertime Bitcoin months. We don't really get these crazy trending moves in the market, right? We got one in May that lasted about 2 weeks, or April to May that lasted about 2 weeks. But since then, it's been about 2 months, I think, of this choppy regime. So my plans are very simple. I've been kind of repeating the same thesis again and again, which is the easiest breakout price discovery trade on Bitcoin is going to be when the market finds out and figures out what we're going to rally behind. Several times this cycle, we have rallied off the base of a catalyst or a narrative or something that gets the animal spirits flowing. Last summer, in the middle of summer, I kind of theorized, hey, it's a little early to say, but it could be Trump. I think this kind of idea sparked somewhere in July. And even in August and even in early September, I was like, guys, it could be the Trump thing. It could be the Trump thing. I don't know if it's going to be that, but it could be the Trump thing. And lo and behold, if you positioned and understood the kind of weakness that bears were showing, their inability to break price down, and the higher low that we set in September, all of these like hidden signs of strength that were brewing in Bitcoin in the background, what did we ultimately do? We ultimately showed that the catalyst for Bitcoin to break out was the election and Trump, right? Before that, it was the ETFs. Once again, we had the inclination, the idea of ETFs spark in June, which led to a big rally in June. And then the actual move was, again, back based on the ETFs, but it didn't really rear its head until much, much later when that was like the consensus-driven narrative, right? So what do we have this time around? The only thing that I'm really thinking about is it could be SBR once again, right? Once the kind of news cycle of wars winds down and everything like that, Trump could at any day just start talking about SBR again, just because he wants good press or whatnot. And that could get the animal spirits flowing for Bitcoin and lead us to our proper breakout. But until that happens, it's hard to get people to go, I just want to buy Bitcoin at 111K. I need a position today, right? But it's so much easier to get someone to do that when they go, I need to be positioned because X, Y, and Z is happening in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. Like Trump getting elected, and then you go, okay, we're going to rally into the inauguration, or ETFs are going live, we're going to rally until the ETF go live date, right? Those things are a lot easier to get people to either buy spot higher or say, I'm not going to de-risk at range highs. I'm not going to de-risk at resistance. Let's let the position ride for a little bit longer, right? So that just removes that overhead supply. It removes the selling pressure. We don't really have that at the moment. So that's kind of the narrative driven background of the thesis that I have right now. As far as price goes, you guys can see with your eyes, we're trading at range high once again. This range framework that I put out in February is continuing to hold up. Like, this is a range that I kind of hypothesized could form based on the 2024 value area high down at these lows. This ended up actually being the bottom. We actioned this a couple times. We're trading up at the highs. We got absorption at the highs. We got a lot of effort coming in up here. We just need more time. Now, that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Altcoins are a little bit of a different story. A lot of altcoins are trading at, in my opinion, discounts, right? Even, the leaders of the market, which would be like FARTCOIN, is trading at a discount. I think Hyperliquid is a different story. It's probably the last remaining golden goose in the market. But, Virtuals was really strong. It's coming back down. It's correcting. These, in my opinion, are opportunities for us to action over Q3, right? If we get another month of chop on Bitcoin, if we get another month of, FUD events, it was war, maybe it's going to be something else next time, right? If we get another of these, I think it's an opportunity as bulls to stack the bags if you haven't done so already and be prepared for a Q4 rally. Because I look at it this way. When you mark up really strongly, you need time to reprice things for people mentally. You need time for people to go 93K on Bitcoin is so fucking expensive, to 6 months later, 8 months later going, dude, I would throw my entire bank account at 93K if it came, right? And what does that do? Nothing changes other than time. You get time to reprice these assets in your mind. You get time to see 108K a million times, and then you get the desire and the opportunity and the willingness to want to buy lower because you look at that as a discount. It's just a mental repricing that happens with time. We've seen this numerous times this cycle. So I'm going to stop there. That was a long yap. Any questions, locally speaking, and then I'll get into some of the kind of game plans on Bitcoin going from there. Good vibes today. Yeah. Feeling good too. Doing great, Doc. What about you? I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks, Doc, for the coupon 3-4 streams earlier. Got 25 discount on the 6-month Paragon membership. Oh, guys, I believe today's the last day. Thank you, Amok. That was an assist by you there. I think today's the last day of the discount. So if you guys do want a discount for Paragon, I think it's expiring today. Let me go on Twitter and make sure. You would think that I would know these things, but I don't actually know. Going on there right now. I think Charlie tweeted it this morning. Yep, today's the last day. So if you guys do want a discount to Paragon, I think it's 25% off the bundles. You can lock it in, right? After today, it's gone. When you guys ask me about it, I'm going to be like, wait, it's probably not coming back for a while. So take advantage. Code BELIEVE at checkout. If you're trying to pay with crypto, I think the discount's already baked in, meaning you don't need to put in a discount code if you're paying for crypto. The prices are already reduced. If you're paying with like card, you got to put in the code. Anyways, we'll move on from there. That's the one Paragon chill of the stream. Back to chat. You have any advice for dealing with burnout? I do. I'm completely burnt out from last year. I need a long break, but struggling to take the break from trading while alts are showing life. Yeah. I actually have a lot of thoughts on that. I've dealt with burnout. I dealt with burnout twice since coming to crypto. So I was on a mission. I'm not going to go through the whole thing and the whole story. You guys probably heard this a few times. I was on a mission, though, joining this industry. I had something to prove. I was taking a big risk. I was betting on myself. I was leaving medicine behind. I was going to crypto. Very hard to make it in trading, right? It's not easy, but I dedicated every waking moment to it. I didn't care if I was waking up at 3 a.m. for alerts. I didn't give a shit, right? I had something to prove. Fast forward, a couple years in, that's 2022 plus 2023 plus almost all of 2024. 3 years in, I'm now starting to feel burnout. This is around September, October of last year. I was feeling really fucking exhausted. It's easy to get over that mentality when markets get volatile again, right? So little bit later in October, I'm getting max exposed to the market. We're ripping, we're going all time highs. Obviously that burnout's gone because you're super excited by price. But once all that's over and we head into January, I started feeling it again. January, February, I'm like tired. I think the easiest thing to do to reset is understand, because the thing in the back of everyone's mind when they're feeling burnout, they're also at the same moment feeling FOMO, because they're like, if I fuck off and don't pay attention to markets, I'm going to miss X, I'm going to miss Y, I'm going to miss Z, I'm going to do this. That's an important time for you to sit back and reflect and say, what is my edge? What is the strongest thing that I can do in this market? Where do I extract the most value? And simply focus on that one thing. Say, my game plan or my strength is buying spot at a discount and selling spot in risk on rallies. Or my strength is trading New York session. Or my strength is X, Y, and Z, right? It doesn't matter what your strength is. If your strength is the trenches, right? That is the one thing you need to focus on, and you need to sacrifice the other things and be like, it's okay. It's okay if I miss this. It's okay if I miss that, because that's not my wheelhouse, right? And take a minute for yourself. You know, it's cliche to say touch grass, but touch grass, you know, go do something else, get a hobby. Remind yourself that trading is, yeah, it's fun, but ultimately, why are you doing this? You're doing this to make your real life better. You're doing this to make, you know, enough money to support a family and buy a house and live a good life, right? That's why you're doing this. And at the end of the day, you need to remember how important that is, and take time to take care of your health and take care of your family and take care of these other things, and let that drive come back. And sometimes it takes a long time to come back, and sometimes it doesn't take that long. For me, when I was feeling burnout in January, in February and whatever, I was saying to the group, I was saying to Paragon, I was saying to the students, I was saying to streams, I was like, guys, I want to take like 6 months off. Like, I just want to take 6 months off. I've been grinding for years. And I said that, and all I did in the background was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on my intraday trades. I'm going to be active pre-New York Open, into New York Open, into the first half of New York's Open session, about 5 hours a day. And the rest of the day, I'm not going to look at my phone. I'm not going to look at charts. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just simply going to focus on for those 5-6 hours. And the rest of the day, I can do whatever. I can go to the gym. I can go play tennis. I can do whatever I want. I can hang out with my girlfriend. I can play video games if I want to. And that helped, right? So if you're in this vibe, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what am I good at? And don't sacrifice that. And the other thing is sacrifice the rest of it. And that drive will come back sooner or later. It took me a couple months, and I'm feeling refreshed, and I'm feeling good, and I'm feeling excited. I'm putting the hours back in, and I'm happy again, but it took a little minute. It took a minute, and that's okay. July chop, then pump when the Fed cuts rates. I don't know, man. I don't have a macro, like, I'm not good with rates and Jerome Powell and FOMCs and CPIs and PPIs and non-farm payrolls, and I'm not good with that stuff, so I don't have a thesis based on that. But it's definitely a possibility. I think there's actually a case to be made that rate cutting could be a local top. It could be a sell the news. It could be something the market's been expecting for a long time, and when we finally get it, it could actually be a sell the news. So keep that in mind as well. I really enjoy tracking specific statistics on certain habits of the market under different conditions. Could this be considered an edge? Are you doing that as well? I really enjoy tracking specific statistics on certain habits of the market under different conditions. Absolutely. So I can give you a little bit of something I do. So when I think I tweeted this out last week, so it's not really like a leak or anything like that, but you guys should know it anyways, common sense. When the most dominant trend for a really strong move breaks, expect a range. And when that range forms, do not take trend trading or trend kind of based setups, because those are going to be lower EV. When a range breaks, you know, stop doing kind of ICT things and start thinking about trend trading setups, right? So that in a nutshell is exactly what you're describing. There's going to be metas where certain setups are going to work better, and there's going to be metas where certain setups are not going to be as good. So definitely pay attention to that. So I think you're doing a good job, 100%. Paragon is worth every penny. Yeah, I think the easiest show for that is, like, Magus said this really well, so I'm just stealing his line here, is which you can learn all these things on your own. There's plenty of free education out there. You can learn all of these things. But it may take you a little bit more longer time, right? What could be accomplished in a few months may take you a year, rather than gaining all that education from left, right, and center. You can gather it from a consolidated source, from people that have been proven to be successful over time in multiple different metas using multiple different strategies. And you have our ear, right? Like, you can ask us questions and stuff. So definitely not necessary to be profitable, but it'll certainly help you, I think. What's your opinion on Solana? I'll get into alts in a bit. Press like or else. Yeah, appreciate that. Alt's showing life. Kinda. Not really. How do you decide what coin to trade? 99% of the time nowadays, I'm just trading Bitcoin. I don't give a damn about alts anymore. There was a point in my career, actually multiple years, where I was trading alts and not trading Bitcoin. And now that is completely shifted for me, and I just trade Bitcoin. Honestly, brother, like alts are without a catalyst, without a driving narrative force, without anything behind it, alts are just levered Bitcoin. And the alts you mentioned, like OM and ZKJ, I don't know what that is. They're mostly just going to be trading as a levered Bitcoin bet. And there's kind of no point in trading those, because they're just going to do whatever Bitcoin does. And if they suck, they're just going to be bleeding all the time when Bitcoin's just going sideways. And when Bitcoin pumps, yeah, they'll probably have a liquid pump that's going to fully retrace, right? At the end of the day, you're trading Bitcoin, right? So when you're trading altcoins, you're making a game plan on Bitcoin. You're saying Bitcoin's going to drop to this location. If Bitcoin has a good setup, I want to long Bitcoin. And then instead of longing Bitcoin, you're longing the altcoin. Right, so you're just adding leverage on leverage with trading altcoins, which is totally fine. It's something I did for a very long time myself, but just be aware of what you're actually doing. Yeah, I heard about the soul pump. Alcaraz 5th set. Fuck, bro. Why am I streaming? I should be watching Alcaraz's 5th set. 5th set with Fognini is wild. It's hard, though. It's hard adjusting to grass. There's only 3 weeks a year that tennis is playing on grass. So, like, going from a 3.5-month clay court season straight to grass is hard for a lot of people to adjust to. When tennis vlog? Eventually. How do you identify potential range when it's still a trend? Or do you only trade after range is formed? So, this is your clear-cut sign, right? For Bitcoin. October, pretty much start respecting the daily trend, respect the daily trend, respect the daily trend, respect all of this. What happens here? You start losing respect. There's a change in character of the market. That's when you know the market is going to shift from trend trading dynamics to more of a range bound trading dynamic, right? You can always say, hey, yeah, a range is going to, a trend could reclaim, right? But most of the time, I think the default setting in your brain should be a trend has been lost. We're gonna shift to a range bound environment, and a range bound Bitcoin environment is this cycle has not been very conducive to altcoin strength. I thought rate cuts historically top stocks. I don't know anything about that, but yeah, like I said a little bit earlier, if the market is expecting rate cuts, it could be definitely a sell the news event. What levels are you going to long Bitcoin? I trade intraday. So I trade basically 1 minute charts. I got a decent trade this morning off of this puke, and then I left the house afterwards. I took 80% off at this top, left a runner, fully round tripped my runner, and did not catch this move. So I did not catch this move this morning at all. I was out of the house and I was distracted with Wimbledon and then leaving the house and stuff like that. But I caught a move on Bitcoin here. The thing that I said, I'm just going to share the exact same plans, is if you're betting on a breakout here, you're just simply betting on the H4 trend now acting as if we're in a trending market, right? You understand that you're underneath resistance, you're trading at a premium. Continuation trades have not worked well whatsoever over the last 2 months. And again, you're trading at a premium. So if you are trying to take a swing trade, you are simply taking a trade off the 4-hour trend here and this consolidation, this local consolidation, saying, we are going to pump out of this consolidation. My invalidation is losing the 4-hour trend, right? That should be the way that you should be trading this. And you're basically trading with like very thin margins, which I think is very difficult to do for a swing basis. Taking a consolidation like this and having a tight stop and then saying we're going to pump to 110 is very difficult to do. For me, I think the best thing that I'm going to continue doing, that I have been doing, is just trading intraday. And those little moves that I get compound over time. Sometimes I miss really banger trades, but I'm much more comfortable taking swing trades when we've got FUD and we've got very strong levels. So we got the weekly trend here. We had the February composite value area high. These were really nice confluence for me to take a swing last week. And I've done pretty good this year buying the FUD. Right, I bought this one in February. I bought these lows in April. Both of them have been really good trades. This is the third one. Those are the areas where I feel confident when there's FUD and we've got really strong levels to work with. Those are the times I take Bitcoin swing trades or hold for over a day or whatever it may be, right? Extend my targets, look for bigger targets, look for swing trades, not try to close my trades intraday. But outside of that, this is not the environment for me to want to make swing-based bets at the value area high because we have a trend, right? It may work out, it may not work out, but for me, that's not a high EV bet. So I'm not going to be telling you like, oh yeah, I'm opening a swing here and I'm aiming for 110, right? I'd much rather, look for an expansion candle, look for a retrace, try to bid on this and play higher. And my invalidation is something like dropping back in the range or something like that. If I wanted to play continuation, I want a little bit of clearance away from the consolidation. Other than that, it's going to be rinse and repeat. Look for swing longs at value, right? Look at swing longs at a discount, right? When we're trading at a discount, it's much easier to do those things. Boomer on Bitcoin now? Yeah, man. That's me. Whoa, been away for a minute. Did I hear you right? You don't trade alts anymore ever? I think statistically speaking, over the past 12 months, 90% of my trades have been on Bitcoin. That doesn't mean I don't buy spot alts anymore. You know what I mean? But like trading, active trading, perp trading, is just Bitcoin. Yeah, I think over 90%, statistically speaking, have been on Bitcoin. I think in 2025, it's even higher than 90%. It's like 95% or maybe even more than that. How do you deal with FOMO if not exposed to the market, yet short to midterm is unclear? You're reluctant to take any spot exposure. The way that I think about FOMO is FOMO arrives when you have no skill set to back yourself up, right? FOMO is this thing of like, oh, I didn't buy the bottom. Now I'm locked out. I have no way to get into a trending market. I have no way to know how to buy a dip. If I buy this dip, the dip's going to keep dipping. I have no frame of reference. I have no systems in place to manage risk along a risk on rally. That's where FOMO comes from. But I don't get that anymore. I used to have that a lot, right? But I have more and more and more confidence in myself the longer I've been in this market. So I don't really feel that because I go, if I'm wrong, right? If I'm not going to get this, I'm not going to, these are my backup plans, right? And then all I have to do is execute on my backup plans. Let me give you guys a good example. When we were trading over here a couple months ago, I was pretty confident that Bitcoin was going to like distribute in this area and pull back, right? That was my leading bias, right? I had, like I mentioned, I took that long on Bitcoin down here. I was closing into these pumps. I closed here, and I said, I'm going to leave a runner as long as the 4-hour trend holds. When this happened, I closed the rest of my Bitcoin long, right? I was out. My like line in the sand was this area, this February composite value area. And I said, this is probably going to be the top. What changed for me? What changed for me is when we started flipping the 4-hour trend, when we got an expansion candle, when that expansion candle only hit a 50% retrace, when I have the confluence of the expansion plus the 4-hour trend, I said, this is the right environment for this to go higher. And my backup plans were on altcoins. I said, okay, if we're going to pump, altcoins are probably going to pump really, really hard. This is an opportunity for me to go across the market and see which altcoins have the best setups in this environment and send those motherfuckers. Right? And the best trade that I got during that time, I had long like 3 coins, but the best one was virtuals. Pull up this chart right here. This is that exact same moment on Bitcoin. Daily trend, right? high time frame SR plus daily trend. If I'm bullish Bitcoin, I should be bullish altcoins. They're going to pump pretty hard. This is a 50% move in like, or 70% move. I didn't catch the 70%. I caught 50% of this over like a day. One day, 12 hours, 71% move. Like I said, I didn't catch all 71%. I caught 50% of this, but those are the backup plans, right? So I have backup plans in my mind of going, if I'm underexposed or if I'm wrong on this thesis, what am I going to do? And all I have to do then is action the game plan that I have. I've been following Total 3 and others charts, and it seems to be going on a descending flag. How much further do you think it might go down? What's the support line? Is on May's low. I look at Total 3 and stuff as a good like frame of reference and guide. I'm not taking it like actionably. I'm not going to take like altcoin trades based on Total 3, but I have an idea, right? I think I drew these levels out fucking forever ago. Like you can go back in my streams and look for the timestamps where I'm talking about Total 3. I had the same kind of levels marked out and the same idea that this could get a deviation. So like last week, as recent as last week, I thought this could trade a lot lower. I mean, this is showing some resilience right now. Is mid-range of this consolidation the best place to be opening trades? Probably not, but it's within the confines of this consolidation that we kind of speculated on it doing, right? So in my opinion, anytime you're range bound, but you're bullish, if you're high time frame bullish, let's do it like this, right? You got to pull back. Like this is your risk on rally. This is your risk off. And then markets start rounding out and they go sideways. They build a range, right? Where's obviously the best place to pick up spot in this range? It's at range low. But within the context of thinking that, hey, we're going to get another high time frame risk on rally, all of this accumulation is opportunity. It's just the best opportunities coming at range lows. So if you want to time it and look for something like that on Total 3, you want to take advantage of the big pukes down to like, 700 billion or whatever that is. But it's not to say that 800 billion is not a terrible place, right? You look at the coins themselves, like look at something like a Solana. This is a good example of that, right? This is your risk on move. This is your risk off move. This is now your range. So if you wanted spot Solana, where's the best place to do so? Range lows, buy down here. If you can't do that, but you're still bullish on the market and you go, hey, we're going to trade to, $300, Doc's gay line. This still seems like pretty deep value. It's just, you're not, within the context of range, you're not getting the best opportunities. That's how I would, think about ranges and accumulations and opportunities. But as far as Total 3 goes itself, like I'm not looking at descending channels or anything like that. I'm just kind of marking out some levels that to me seem like discount. And that's about it. Moving from alts to Bitcoin, then back to Bitcoin plus altcoin was the natural order of things. What is my order? My order was starting with majors and Bitcoin and ETH, very slowly and reluctantly going to alts for years, 2+ years, mainly trading alts, and then back to now Bitcoin mainly for like the last year-ish. Especially this year in 2025. And then, like a good example, Magus caught the FARTCOIN trade on Sunday. I caught Bitcoin. I mean, both of our trades are pretty fucking solid, but I think FARTCOIN pulled like a 40% move. Bitcoin was like 8% or 10% or something. Very interested in your intraday trades. What exchange do you recommend for US traders to make liquid limit orders? So I think the best thing for US participants at this second is going to be Hyperliquid, or exchanges that don't have KYC like Blowfin. But soon it's going to be Coinbase, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like Coinbase because of their customer service or customer support or something like that, but I mean, I'm going to be taking my volume probably to Coinbase because it's going to be easier for me. On-ramp, off-ramp, do my taxes for me there, right? Buy spot there, trade perps there. Like, that's going to be the place. I think their perps are launching in a couple weeks. So, I mean, definitely check that out. You still hold spot alts? Yeah, I actually bought some recently too. Sorry for being late. Don't apologize. You can always go back. You can always go rewind, watch on 2x speed, or come back tomorrow and wait for timestamps. Don't stress about it, man. What do you think of the idea that the next leg up on Bitcoin could be wave 3 in the final wave of the cycle, Elliott wave theory? I don't know anything about Elliott wave theory, brother. You're asking the wrong guy. Press the like, nerds. Yeah, appreciate if you guys hit the like. Doc, it's my girlfriend's birthday soon. What should I take her out for? You can never go wrong with sushi, in my opinion. I think sushi's a really good date night meal because you don't feel bloated and uncomfortable afterwards. You go out to eat fucking Italian food. Everyone feels disgusting eating all that pasta and carbs. Go out, eat some sashimi, some fish and fat, easily digestible. Have a good time afterwards. Wink. Can we analyze the Brett chart? Yeah, I'll get into alts in a minute. FARTCOIN. Yesterday, my mom asked me about FARTCOIN out of the blue. What do you see specifically in 1 minute charts to make you jump into a trade? The best signal for me is absorption. So if there's a large amount of selling coming into a point of interest, sometimes 2 standard deviation value at low, sometimes it's confluence with high time frame areas. If I get a lot of amount of selling, and that selling is getting absorbed, meaning the origin of that impulse retraces and people are not getting rewarded for that selling and the market is showing signs of resilience at those lows. Those are opportunities for me to take reversion trades. Go for Indian tandoori chicken and lamb chops. You sound a bit like Giver. Yeah, Giver's my alt, dude. So Giver LARPs as the macro nerd, and the Doc personality LARPs as the trader. Did you read that Tom Lee wants to start an ETH treasury? No, I didn't. Did not read that. What's your holding duration that you look for when buying spot alts? I basically think that, wait, let me read your question. What's your holding duration that you look for when buying spot alts? I don't really have a time frame for it. I usually just buy spot alts when I think Bitcoin's gearing up to break out, or it's set a floor, or, you know, the majority of the kind of malpositioning on altcoins has been rinsed out. Anyone who bought during a trend is underwater and finally capitulates. The momentum of the altcoin is slowed down. I will start accumulating the altcoins. And then, what was the last part of your question? Duration. Like, duration doesn't matter to me because I can't predict when Bitcoin's going to top, like, in advance. You know, is it going to top in November, December, January, February, March? Like, I can't predict. It's kind of like I know it when I see it, you know? Now, I mean, your voice also, I think, Giver's a LARP. Bro, the joke went completely over your head, brother. Giver's cool. It was a joke, my friend. More like taker, sorry. Yeah, I don't care about your nerd terms, bro. My guy will go on a 10-minute ramble about how everything in the market is a meme and then come in here and correct my verbiage. Have you gotten into trenching? No, I need to, man. I need to work on that like now so that I'm prepared for fucking on-chain season. But it's just like I was saying, like I want to focus on the hours where I think that I'm going to be the most profitable, and as long as I am attacking those times and taking those trades, I can go to sleep happy, right? Everything else is a bonus, but I think right now my main concern is building spot bags. I still think I have the time to, like, look, like something like PEPE. We'll get into alts in a minute. Like, I still think this is opportunity, right? All of this down here is discounted price action. You're just trying to sell during the pumps, right? This is now PEPE going from a clear downtrend to kind of starting to round off. So I think once again, it's opportunity to pick up these coins. That's my main focus. I know that's not going to take 20 hours out of the day, but yeah, I got to get into trenching too. Tennis Chat and Link Marine. Yeah, man. If you were to take July, August off, what trading view alerts would you set to get you back into charts and start entering the market? It's simple. Break above 110 or break below 100, right? That's the range that we're locked in. So if you really wanted to just like completely fuck off and not look at charts, I would say set an alert here, like 110.7, and set an alert down here, like 101 or 102 or something like that. All right. I missed the joke. You can have it. I made good money trenching lately, but I'm still new and weak. Hey, man, I'm going to lose a lot of money trenching in the beginning, too. We're going to give a shout out to Bonkbot in a minute for sponsoring the streams. They made a really good product, by the way. Like it's really cool to me how, you know, I can get stream sponsors that make legitimate products. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like Bonkbot, they're fucking shipping. I'm in a Telegram chat with them, and like every time I open the chat, they're like, we added this new feature, we added this new thing, we added this is coming soon, we've optimized this. So it's cool to work with someone or work alongside someone that is so passionate about what they do. Bitcoin dominant starting to look really shaky. I don't agree with that on all time frames. Would you say that this looks shaky on this time frame, on the weekly time frame? I don't think so. On the daily time frame, once again, I don't think so, right? It's hard for me. Like this was the opportunity to say, okay, something has changed, right? We broke above a really strong level. We broke down. We lost a trend. We're closing below it. First time since the FTX lows. If you're going to want to bet on a regime shift, I know that it's hard to mentally say, oh yeah, I'm going to bet on this regime shift down here. But at least structurally something has changed, right? Without that, it's just the same orderly uptrend that we've had for like 2 years or 3 years. Can you give your spot alt plan with accumulation and validation? That you can get in Paragon. I have a channel called Spot Portfolio where you could literally copy trade everything I'm doing on Spot if you feel like. On high time frame like H4D1, how do you identify absorption? I think the easiest thing to do is just look for higher volume that's failing to, like, how do I want to put this? On high time frame, what you're basically looking for is more effort coming in into extreme points of interest, meaning a lot of parties are participating in price at a location and they're failing to cause extension in that location. So if you're looking at very sharp sell-offs into a very significant support level and volumes are higher than they should be, and then those bears or that high volume is not getting continuation, to me that's a kind of dummy version of absorption. There's some tools you can use as well, right? You could use simple volume, you could use buy sell volume, you could use delta candles, you could use market order bubbles. All of those are kind of saying the same thing to you, which is a lot of effort has been done in this location. Is that effort being rewarded or unrewarded? Rewarded effort means that effort's not going to fully retrace, that it's going to cause continuation, that's going to consolidate the location. And if that's failing to happen and you're kind of retracing back to the origin of that large amount of volume coming in, that is absorption. Actioning that on the daily chart takes a while. Actioning that on the 1 minute chart obviously is not going to take that long. Can you ask Bonkbot to add some kind of support to bubble maps? Interesting. I could ask that. I could ask them that. Brother, no one outside of the US uses Coinbase. That exchange is a meme on its own. I've yet to encounter someone who uses Coinbase. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because we're talking about Americans here. For Americans, I think it's going to be very interesting. You have to understand how much friction there is for US participants to use PEPE products, man. Like, as a burger, everything here is so fucking regulated. Just to get perp trading done is difficult. Like going on, you could go on no KYC exchanges, right? But some people don't want to keep large amounts of money there. You can go in Hyperliquid, which has been a great like alternative option for a lot of people over the past year. But I think having like an exchange where you could actually trade perps on that's like regulated in the country that you live in is going to be pretty cool for a lot of us. Just speaking for myself here. Do you expect weak seasonality coming into Q3? So one thing I can tell you guys is like, I don't really trade that often on weekends, but I do pay attention to price. Like I'll open it up and look at stuff. This is like some of the lowest volume that we've had in a while. Like even pre-New York Open today, like an hour before New York Open, we're still getting whatever these candles are called. Some price action nerd's gonna know exactly what this zero vol candle is called. Like something like a 4 doji. I forgot what it's called. 4-point doji or something like that. Like these candles you only see on like really illiquid Mexi shitters, and you're getting these on Bitcoin, which is not the most common, but you do see these a lot in Bitcoin in summertime events. So like you could tell volumes drying up, liquidity's drying up. Like some of that seasonality probably comes into play. The difference here, I was talking to Magus earlier, the biggest difference with Bitcoin this year and all the years before is the flows, right? Like Saylor's buying a fuck ton of Bitcoin. He's buying a lot of Bitcoin. He's bought half the Bitcoin he's ever bought in his life in the last 6 to 7 months. Let me put that in perspective for you guys. MicroStrategy started buying Bitcoin here. Half of the purchases that MicroStrategy has made along these 5 years have come right here. So half of his purchases were here, and the other half are right here. And that's just MicroStrategy. There's like fucking Pomps, whatever thing, bought $500 million in Bitcoin, and then GameStop's buying Bitcoin, and then ETFs are buying Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin's so much stronger than it used to be. Did you chart Bitcoin already? What do you think first, 105 or 110? It all depends on this local consolidation. I can't tell you which way this is going to break out. This is trading at a premium. You are at the composite value area highs. I would bet on continuation if we get a strong move above composite value area highs that are spot supported, right? Not just these weak, illiquid, $500 million Binance perps moves on a Saturday, right? If we get a strong perps are strong, it doesn't matter, but spot supported move above here, I would say yes, the most likely liquidity is going to be like 110.07 or 110.700, and also this one here like 109. Right, but when you're in a consolidation like this, it's very hard to just make a random prediction of what do you think's going to happen first, 110 or 105. That's not the way that I'm going to operate. I see a trigger, then I take a trade, right? Not just like blindly guessing and predicting. There's no point. Do you think we see a blow off top this cycle, or can it be gradual, incremental, and then chop? Wait. Do you think we see a blow off top this cycle, or can it be gradual, incremental, and then chop just now and then end of the cycle? Thank you, man. I don't know. I think there's a possibility because of how much of the supply is being taken off the market by Saylor, by ETFs, by all these other companies, that it feels like it's gearing up towards one of those supply squeeze things where all you need is a spark. You just need a reason to get people super fucking hyped about Bitcoin for a short amount of time. It doesn't need to be long. It just needs to be a couple weeks, couple months. And because of all this supply that's being soaked by all these spot chads across the market, you will get very sharp, classic Bitcoin type of rallies like this. What do you think about Pepe? I think it's an accumulation ripe for probably spot pickups at the moment to bet on rallies later on in the year. I'm not looking to trade Pepe on an intra-week basis or anything like that. And also, I think it's starting to it's 2-3 years old now. FARTCOIN is the new and shiny altcoin, or the meme coin in the market. It's cheaper. It's lower valuation. it's probably gonna outperform Pepe, right? So if you're chasing like the blue chip whatever, it would probably be FARTCOIN. If you're trading Pepe, expect it to be very strong for a short amount of time, and that's about it, right? Like Pepe is gonna have a blow off top. Pepe is gonna have like a really sharp rally that probably doesn't get a really strong continuation, and when it starts consolidating, that's it. That's the top. My friend used to call these flat candles floating carpets. That's a good one. Magic carpet from Aladdin. June and August is always like this at big guys go on vacation. Yeah, that's been my experience as well. You ignore my messages? I haven't seen one from you. Can someone do me a favor and check what Jarek Vlogs asked me? I don't see anything. Sailor FOMO because of these new institutions getting into Bitcoin? I don't know. Okay. So we've covered Bitcoin. We've been in the stream. Let me do real quick, my friends. Give a shout out to today's stream sponsor, which is Bonkbot, and then we're gonna get into altcoins and everything like that in a minute. All right, so you guys, you've been watching my last couple streams. You've heard me talking about Bonkbot, which their new web terminal is called Telemetry. They've been shipping the fuck out of this thing. So like, as you guys can see on this, it's their just, classic discovery page of brand new coins coming in, new creations about to graduate, right? You guys are all familiar with that concept. They're going to have a navigation page soon, which is going to show you like, winners of the day, runners of the day, highest volume of the day, etc. I think that's coming like next week or the week after. I know they're building it and they're shipping it soon. All these features are like rolling out every fucking second. By the way, if you guys want to sign up to this, they're like whitelisting people right now. There's a link in the description box below. So like click the link and you'll get on the whitelist. People have been telling me that they're getting like approved to start using the platform in like 24 hours or 48 hours. So they're getting people on there quick. But yeah, you have to get whitelisted to get trading on here. So click the link in the description box below if you guys want to sign up. I think one of the coolest things that they have in here is their wallet tracker. And you guys can import like the top 100 KOL wallets instantly, which I think is super fucking dope, right? So there's a lot of people on here that you guys will recognize, like Bonkai and Ansem. You guys have all heard of Bonkai. You guys have all heard of Ansem. Their wallets are in here. You can see what they're doing like minute to minute. You can copy trade them instantly. You can literally quick buy, right? So if you see someone coming in that aped like 10K of a coin that just launched, you could literally click this button right here and just insta launch SOL, right? I don't have any loaded in my wallet right now, otherwise I would have done that. But it's just like the quickest way to latch onto, what would be considered insider trading. A lot of stuff that happens in the trenches is talked about in Telegram chats and stuff. They're all like conversing on these coins. They launch them, they bundle supply. And I think bundles are like the biggest runners early on, even like as well, right? You may look at them like scams, but at the end of the day, they pump hard. So for a little bit, they are really good trades. I think that's my favorite thing on the terminal. You can always add people. Like if you find their wallet, boom, click it in there. They add to the list. You could put little smileys and stuff next to people. Like I have Bonkai right here with a little heart because I love that guy. I'm always rooting for Bonkai. So I have his wallet in here with a little heart. Quickly be able to find him and see what he's up to and see what he's buying and see what he's selling and stuff like that. You guys will hear the noises in the background. That's very similar to like listening to Agar. So every time you hear like one of those beeps come in, it's one of these KOL wallets buying or selling something. So always keeps you like, up to date, even if you not looking at it, right? And you have it running in the background. If you just hear a bunch of these beep, 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 beep things coming in, you'll know that like activity's picking up and there's probably a runner and something you should pay attention to. So a bunch of cool features in Bonkbot. Once again, shout out to them for sponsoring the stream. Please check out their terminal. There's a link in the description box below. Sign up for it. They'll whitelist you in like 48 hours. Won't take long. All right, where you guys at? Which meme you looking to accumulate into Q3, Q4 rally? Pepe and FARTCOIN. Pepe because it's old, reliable. It's my baby. It's something that I've made a lot of money on over the past years. God bless. Strongest thesis. And, you know, I think it's just a reliable, going to be in a short spurt, outperform Bitcoin, right? It's a leading meme. It'll do well. Do I still have the same flip SHIB conviction that I did 6 months ago? No, I don't, because we got so close to seeing that thesis play out. It's just so close that the evolving R of that trade no longer made sense to me. All right, so if I pull this up to you guys, right, this was the trade thesis, right? We got within 40% of flipping SHIB. There's unfinished business. This could definitely still flip SHIB. In fact, on a long enough time scale, I do think it's going to flip SHIB. But is this the same high conviction bet that I took down here and down here? Do I still have that up here? I don't think the evolving R is there anymore. But nonetheless, I do still think it's a really good thesis to run with, right? Because it has a target. A lot of meme coin runners, the way that you have targets is just round numbers. 1 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion. But for Pepe, you could actually legitimately be like, fuck SHIB, let's go flip that thing, right? So I think that's a really cool thesis. FARTCOIN, obviously, like, I don't need to show FARTCOIN to you guys. You guys all get the thesis. If Bitcoin rallies, do we sell or hold? I think if you have good Bitcoin positioning at this point, you're not looking to sell unless you think that it's topped for the risk on rally. So if it breaks out of this 80K to 100K range, let's just call it that for rounding numbers. If it breaks out of this mega high time frame range and starts marking up, you're going to want to hold on for a little bit until it loses like daily trends or something like that. I'm still waiting for the trenching stream. Okay, here we go. 100% guaranteed next week I will load up like 10 SOL into the account, and we'll launch some shitters next week. I'll let you guys pick the coins that I ape next week on next week's stream. So if you guys want to see me gamble live, I'll do that next week. You have my word. Been following on X, first time catching live and loving it. Pure knowledge and BS. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm asking you to name any meme coins and spot hold 1-2 months. Like I just said, like Pepe and FARTCOIN. Those would be my 2 picks. Any other activities besides the dinner for the birthday? I think outdoor activities would be the best. Otherwise, it just turns into like the same repeated trite things that people do on dates. My suggestion is anything outdoors, which is things that people don't do that often. It depends on the location where you live, right? If you're living on the coast, you got to do something on the beach. You got to do something on the water. You got to do something on a boat, rent out a boat, have dinner on the boat. Depends what your budget is. You know what I mean? I'd say if you live on the water, you look up locally if you could. This is going to be pricey, but hopefully you can afford it. Hire a sushi chef to make you guys sushi on a boat and take like a sunset ride. With Charlie? Dude, I think let me ask, I'll talk to Charlie. Maybe I'll jump on his stream like next week and we can launch some shitters or something together. Useless? Let's do that. Bonkbot hit another runner. I think Useless has been ripping. Oh my god, it has been ripping. I think Charlie's in this, speaking of Charlie. What's the market cap at? Is it one of those that just smashes? Is it 200 million market cap? 217 million? Simplest thing to do is just bet on trend continuation, right? Pullbacks into the 4-hour trend, which have carried you from, you know, down here. Those would be the places to look for longs, right? Price action, trend confluence, right? Simple SRs, right? When market caps are low, when coins are trading at like 80 million or 50 million or 40 million, really simple TA and support and resistance levels and EMAs work like a charm. You don't really need to overthink these things. Useless made me feel like I missed out. Here's my take on this. So this is how I sleep well at night. I get chilled hundreds of coins, guys. Hundreds of coins. And I pretty much don't listen to anyone ever, right? And for every 100 coins that I get chilled, there's one that does 100x. And then I beat myself up and I go, fuck, I should have listened, yada, yada. But if I keep throwing like $1,000 into every coin and I lose 99 times, one of them's going to hit 100x, then what do? I just break even. That's been my experience because I don't have edge there myself. I don't actually have edge to know which coin is going to run from 5 million to 1 billion. If I had edge there, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be a trencher, right? And for me, the way that I've looked at it multiple times is the only thing I owe to myself for this cycle until I get another reset is to continue extracting value where I know that I can extract the most value. As long as I nail the things that I'm set out to do, I can go to sleep at night happy. There are times in the market where I go, okay, this is not going to be that lucrative. This is the time for me to pick up on new things. Like last summer, I've talked about this extensively with you guys. Last summer, when I was pretty confident that Bitcoin is topped for the summer, I was like, this is the time for me to start working on a new edge, right? And that's when I started intraday trading behind the scenes for this entire thing. Pretty much like April into October, I was doing this. Right? I wasn't really talking about it because I was like, I'm not going to be successful doing this for a while. I have to find something that's repeatable for me that I could do a lot. And it took me a while to figure it out, to test different things, to test different tools, to find something that works for me repeatably. And the next time that I feel like, you know, the markets are in that situation, you know, I could do something like that. You know what I did here? This was like practice for me. And this is like the Super Bowl for me. This has been great. Again, when I thought Bitcoin was topped, I pulled this out of the bag and I go, okay, we're done trending. We've closed the altcoin positions. We've sold the alt bags. We've moved. We bought a house. We've done all these things. Okay, now what are we going to do? Let's start sizing it up into these intraday trades. Let's really test out how well I can do this. And it's been fun for me. So I go to sleep at night happy every day, knowing that I'm executing on what I know that I can execute on. And I don't lose sleep over going, oh my God, I missed this 100x runner. Because to be honest, that's hindsight, right? It's hindsight to feel like, oh, I missed out on this thing because I didn't know that it's going to do that. I had no conviction that it was going to run 100x. And for everyone that I actually execute on, like, it's probably not going to be that successful. REI, another one that went parabolic. I'm probably going to have the exact same reaction to REI if it's going parabolic as I am with I don't know. I'm not going to pull up Deck Screener if it's on Deck Screener. Wait, that RR calculation is wrong because that assumes every shill goes to 0. Yeah, Jingo, because the thing is, I'm not going to be actively trading those, right? So, like, if I'm going to buy an on-chain coin and, for example, put $100 into it, I'm not going to be like actively trading it, you know? I think there's going to be people out there like yourself who that's your edge. That's what you want to do in the market, right? So are you going to be, let me ask you a question. Are you going to be focused up for 6 hours a day, trading Bitcoin intraday, pre-New York Open into New York Open, and then do a whole bunch of other stuff, and then also have time for your on-chain? You're probably not. You have to sacrifice something, right? So if I'm going to be trading on-chain, I'm going to be kind of looking for the 100x runner. I'll be like, okay, this thesis, this coin, whatever, this person's bullish on it. Let me buy $10, $100, whatever the fuck it may be, and then let it run, right? And it may go up a couple X, and if I sell it and then it goes 100x, I'm going to be like, oh my God, right? That was the runner. I sold it for a 3x and it went 100x. So I just don't have time to do that, right? I have to be fully involved. I think anything you do in the markets, man, if you half-ass it, you're just not going to be successful. You have to dedicate time to it. You can't just half-ass something and be successful. How do you avoid getting chopped up, though? How do I answer this question like in the best way possible? Like, in the beginning, and anything that you're going to do with trading, you're not going to be successful. You have to find something there that's repeatably successful for you, and then filter for that. Meaning, only take the trades that are successful. Only take the trades that are high EV. Only take the trades that appear enough times per week for you to execute on it repeatedly, right? And then you know which are good trades and which are not. And then you're not going to get chopped up because you know, like, I'm supposed to execute on this one. I'm not supposed to execute on that one. So what does it come down to? Experience, time in trade, time in charts. How long does it take you to be profitable in trading? That depends on the hours that you can dedicate to the game. If you can no life it like I did, probably quicker. If you don't have time and you have a full-time job and you have kids and a family and responsibilities and all these other things, probably a lot longer. That's the easiest answer that I can give you. It's just like anything else in life. You ask me, hey Doc, how long is it going to take me to be in Division III NCAA basketball player starting point guard? I'm going to give you the exact same answer. Be like, if you have no time to go play basketball and practice when you're 11 years old to 17 years old, you're not going to make it. But if you have time, because you're a kid and you're sacrificing video games and all this other stuff to go play basketball, then you can make it on D1, D2, D3 NCAA basketball team, right? Much higher likelihood. Trading is the exact same. It's the effort that you put in, the dedication that you have. Your willingness to treat it like a career, like a job, like a skill set that you're trying to get better at, not treat it like, oh, I need to make money today. Like, think about it this way. Trading is the only place in the world where people come in with this ego, like they're going to make money in 2 days and like they need to start winning day one. But every other career in life, people understand that it's going to take them multiple years to get good. You want to be a doctor or a lawyer, doesn't matter how bad you want it. It's still going to take years for you to learn it. And you accept that. It's common sense. But with trading, people don't give themselves the time to treat it like, hey, this is something worth doing. It's going to take time to learn. You're going to have to keep learning along the way. You may find a couple things that work for you, but you're not there yet. You got to keep learning this, that, and the other thing. You got to learn how to trade a range-bound market and a trending market. You got to learn how to extract value during an uptrend by picking up spot. You got to learn how to extract value in an intraday, intra-week basis to kind of like make a 9 to 5. You can't rely on a bull market to make you money. You can't rely on a bear market to make you money. You got to understand that 6 months out of the year, 8 months out of the year, Bitcoin's just going to fucking chop and go sideways and do nothing. And as far as books go, I don't recommend any. I know that's weird and other people are going to have different takes on that, but I don't really care for trading books. I think they're just a waste of time. Go fucking do it, right? Open up a chart. Start watching streams of people who trade, educational content. Magus has got tons of educational content. I've got some all over the place. Start putting together practice, make plans, take the trades, ask questions, learn from what you did wrong. Better than reading a book. A book's not going to teach you shit. It's like the same metaphor that I'm going to use, and I'll move on from this topic, is like, you want to be a three-point shooter and win the three-point contest? Yeah, go study Steph Curry's shot. But how many shots are you going to watch before you realize, like, oh, this didn't translate into me being a good shooter? I have to actually go on the court and shoot some threes. I once did not sell a 200x because of me not having a fiat off-ramp to pay taxes. Bank are so antagonistic towards crypto. That sucks, man. At me next time? Yeah, that was... I didn't even know you were in chat, Sam, but that goes for you too. Fucking start trading, bro. Quit being a pussy. How much do you pay attention to CME gaps? Sometimes, like last week was a big one because we nuked, I don't know, $5,000 on a Sunday and left a massive CME gap right into the weekly trend. And I saw absorption at these lows when we were coming down here. I saw a lot of effort coming in. I actually took 2 stabs at this. The first stab round trip and the second stab stuck. But I knew I wanted to look for a trade down here, and we had a 5K gap. And my thesis was, okay, we could fill a lot of this. But it's not every week that I care about the CME gap. How did you learn? What was your background? No background in economics or finance. Background in tennis and medicine. I tell this all the time, there's plenty of free educational content all over the place. Let me shout out some people that stream every week. Live for free, where you can learn stuff and ask people questions. You can come in my stream and ask me questions. So I'm not going to list myself, but Trader XO, Trader Magus, BTC Charlie. Who else streams? Trader Main. Who else streams? Pierre. I think he streams. Guys, help me out. Who else streams from CT that puts out good educational content? I think Stoic started putting out YouTube content. Go watch Stoic streams. Actually, he doesn't stream, but videos, right? There's plenty of people out there, man. Can you talk in UFC MMA terms? Go fight somebody, dude. Cricket IPL terms. Have you tried paddle tennis? No, fuck that. Fuck paddle tennis, fuck pickleball, fuck badminton and ping pong. Actually, ping pong's kind of cool, but all those sports. Go play tennis if you want to play a racket sport, man. Mercury. Yeah, Mercury's got a YouTube. There you go. Trader Mercury. CBS also streams. Awesome. Cred has a really good beginner like introduction to like candles. Like he'll teach you what a candle is if you don't know what a candle is. Like really good like noob education to get you started. The people that I learned from the most. Trader XO. Trader Magus. Pierre. All these other guys I've learned stuff from too as well. But I think the core of what I've learned in markets are from these 3 people. Do you think it's still worth it to learn trading? As AI keeps growing, there will be more software to automate. AI can never automate discretion and experience. It cannot automate regime changes. It cannot automate when you're getting a signal to long or short a market, but you know through experience that you're not supposed to do that. You can't solve for human experience, I think, with AI. That's my take on it. I think humans the top humans should always beat AI when it comes to trading. Maybe I'm wrong on that. That's just the way that I see it. Bitboy, crypto banter. Trader Dante. Does Dante has amazing Twitter threads. I don't know if he streams or puts out YouTube content. I wouldn't know. Should I start learning how to implement order flow into my trading system even if I'm not yet profitable? I didn't start using order flow until last year. I was profitable for almost 3 years or 2.5 years before implementing order flow. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's another tool that you could use. And it's really, really, really fucking helpful for trading low time frames. I personally don't know how you can trade the 1 minute chart without knowing something about flow. Spent most of my early days in 2021 cycle watching banter. Am I cooked? Brother, that was 4 years ago. What have you been doing since then? Oh, Dante does do YouTube vids? Okay, good to know. Good to know, good to know. Can we do FARTCOIN SPX? Yeah, let's do some alts before we wrap up the stream. Actually, we're kind of early at the stream, aren't we? We're an hour and 20 in. I've got like 40 minutes to go. I mean, FARTCOIN looks fantastic. I picked some up over the weekend. You know, I wanted to, like, I really fucking wanted to buy some at 60, but the market had other plans. This thing is giga strong. It's starting to round off at the lows. I know this has a lot of noise on it. Let's go to a simpler chart. Let's get rid of some of these things. Let's just talk about simple support and resistance. This has been holding for a while. We deviated below it, got back above, retested. We're above the 4 hour, above the daily, we're above the weekly. I think it looks good. And there's not much left to say on that, man. Even the retest this morning, right into the 4 hour trend, looks pretty fucking solid. Hard to be bearish on something that you know is going to do well. Like, you know FARTCOIN is going to do well when Bitcoin breaks out, right? So, yeah, I mean, I really wanted the perfect retest is 60, but another, you know, thing that you know with something that's strong, it's not going to give you those perfect retests. So, when we were trading down here at like 80 on Sunday, again, I just wanted to hyper focus on Bitcoin and size into that trade and make sure that I nailed that trade. I wasn't really thinking about like, okay, this is the moment for me to also pick up FARTCOIN. Hindsight is 2020. I wish I had done that, but I did not pick up FARTCOIN there. Started building a bag from like $1. Opinion on Tyler S? I don't know who that is. You mentioned discretion. How would you break down your trading strategy if you removed all discretion? If it was purely mechanical? How would you break down your trading strategy if it was purely mechanical? You want me to teach you my system right now? Is that what you're asking? I have a system for high time frame on a cyclical basis for positional trading. I have a system for medium time frame trend trading, and I have a system for intraday low time frame mean reversion. All of those would serve me pretty well if I completely remove discretion, but discretion is an edge that is only obtained through experience, and why bother gaining experience if you're not going to use it? What do you think about Ski Mask Dog? All right, I'll look up Ski Mask Dog. I don't really want to look up Ski Mask Dog, but I'll look up Ski Mask Dog. I think this is probably one of those coins that had its time in the sun one time, and whatever the top was previously, this doesn't look like the full history chart, but whatever the top was, that's probably the forever top. It's probably never going to make new all-time highs because it's just one of the bajillion altcoin or meme coins in this market. And this thing doesn't look like it held any mind share. Any memes that look like this are probably never coming back to life, in my opinion. You want your memes to be showing some type of resilience if you're betting on existing ones. There's just too many memes to care about, man. I didn't think it'd reach 60. Why'd you aim this low? Purely mechanical. Support, resistance, weekly demand. I mean, it got to 79. It's not that far off. Looks good, though. Rounded off a little bit higher. You know, there was an opportunity during the FUD or whatever to trade lower. It showed a lot of resilience. It looks good to me. Starting to round off here. Spent multiple weeks holding 90 as support. I think dips are for buying on FARTCOIN. Having a plan doesn't mean that, like, you can't adjust, right? So I make plenty of plans that just never come to fruition, but I have backup plans for them, right? As long as I know what I'm doing and looking for, that's okay. Plan A doesn't always have to work out. How about Loma? Loma's fantastic. Loma's a legend in our space. XO2 bearish, tried calling cycle top in February. What you guys don't realize is he doesn't care. He is really fucking good at what he does. He's really fucking good at what he does. To him, it doesn't matter. Tried calling cycle top here or there or whatever. Who cares? He'll adjust. Just like I said with the FARTCOIN, like I thought it might come to 60. We got pretty damn close. Didn't hit 60? Oh, well. Does that mean, like, I'll never take a trade again? Oh, my God. Like, it didn't touch 60. It's all fucking over. Like, who cares? The GOAT, Kobe, and GCR, both after FTX, were saying shit like they think crypto's, like, forever cooked, or it's potentially forever cooked. Their DMs leaked. Does that mean that they never bought crypto again? They probably haven't made another $1 billion this cycle? No. Who cares what people say? Like, why are you hanging on to what someone said back in February, dude? It's almost July. Who cares? Ski Mask Dog is the one the senator keeps buying. Oh, true. I have heard of it then. I have heard of it. You're supposed to tell us our meme coins are going to the moon so we can continue living in denial. I could do that. Pengu looks good. Okay, I can look at Pengu. Can you check the ETH chart? Yeah, it's funny. We're fucking an hour and a half into the stream. I haven't looked at ETH. Y'all came prepared with the questions today. So, ETH built a forever range, ran the lows, and is trading back inside value. If you're going to want to be bullish on ETH, you're going to want to do it at a discount here. Play the rotation from value area low to value area high. It's doing the strong, like, walk up too, where we're not running any of the lows, we're walking it up, we're setting grindy higher lows in this area. Each of these pullbacks is being purchased, right? We have the market structure because the high that led to the low, we took out the high. We've been consolidating, holding value area low. It looks good. I think the ETH kind of turbo expansion, like next fuck you type of rally, comes when we start trading over 108. They didn't. GCR bought the bottom at 16K. I bought the bottom at 16K too. After the FTX implosion, both they're like group chat leaked. This is like a famous thing. This isn't even like, I thought this is well known. They're like group chat leaked like 6 months later, like in the middle of 2023, where both like Kobe and GCR were like talking about like, oh yeah, this market's probably fucking cooked forever. Like crypto's probably dead. We're never recovering from this. And guess what? Like you said, if they bought the bottom at 16K, guess what? FTX lows, like we stayed at 15, 16, 17K for like a month. You had time to change your mind, right? So even if they thought at the moment after FTX that this shit's cooked and like we're never going to recover from this, guess what? They had time to change their mind. You ever look for chart patterns? Pepe couldn't looking like a massive head and shoulders. Let me tell you something. You can't be bullish on Bitcoin expecting higher prices and also be bearish on Pepe looking at a head and shoulders. I think what patterns like that, what triangles and everything like this is a very dummy way and kindergarten way to explain certain very like easy to understand trading concepts. It's just like, I don't know, man. I just look at those like, if you don't know anything about trading, it's so easy to learn through the context of a triangle or head and shoulders or descending triangle or ascending triangle or whatever these things are. I mean, what is a head and shoulders? A head and shoulders is, hey, you had an uptrend. Now you came back to the origin of the last move. You changed the meta of setting higher lows to now setting equal lows, and then you set yourself up for a complacency shoulder. This is a trend reversal pattern that you could already tell could form before the lower high even prints, because you're saying this looks like momentum loss. We're actually coming all the way back to the origin of the last move. This could potentially set us up for a lower high into a lower low. But if a chart is just going like this, it's not a head and shoulders, right? That's the way that I would think about it. Any thoughts on tokenized securities? I think it's bullish crypto, just like the RWA thesis, just like stablecoins. I think anything that brings recognition to crypto is bullish crypto, right? So tokenized securities are cool. I think it brings the opportunity for people who don't live in America, don't have access to like a brokerage account, and easier access to trade securities, as long as that shit is fucking legal, right? And it's backed by something, not just someone throwing out Tesla perps or whatever without any kind of fucking regulation and backing of it. Pepe move with ETH, very simple thesis, 100%. Can you find it? Because it's really weird. GCR posted bullishly at 16K. Bro, that's not the point. Who cares? You're taking my point that I'm making and just thinking too much about GCR. Like, who cares? The guy's the GOAT. It doesn't matter. He can say on Monday that he's bearish and Tuesday that he's bullish and Wednesday that he's bearish. Like, who cares what someone says? What matters is what he does. Like you just said there, that he bought 16K. That's what matters. What matters is his action. Not what matters is some stupid group chat leak. My point was to people going, this person was this at this level and this person was this at this level. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Why does that matter? Why are you wasting your mental effort with that stuff? Who cares what someone tweeted at a certain price? People tweet stuff at lows and then don't buy them. People tweet the top is in and then don't sell, right? There's people who are bullish at the top, but they actually sell 3 days later, right? So like actions matter more than just random words. That was the point of what I was saying. I'm sure you guys could find the group chat text. Like, go on Twitter and find it. I'm sure you could find it. It was like a big thing when it leaked. It was like everyone was talking about it. Oh my God, these guys are bearish at the bottom. And then Kobe actually came out and like talked about it. And he was just like, yeah, who gives a shit what we were saying when fucking FTX imploded in a secret group chat? Like, who cares? Penny for your thoughts on my spare 1K. I have a spare 1K based FARTCOIN or based Pepe. So these are, I'm assuming, base chain derivatives of the main coins. I don't know, man. That's a gamble. I guess based FARTCOIN. Just long FARTCOIN. Just take your, if you want to be a degenerate, just fucking long FARTCOIN. Go 2x long FARTCOIN or something. This is why people inevitably stop posting on Twitter. You can have years of provably Giga Chad calls and people will still heckle your last bad one. Yeah, 100%, Jingo. Dude, it's actually really hard, like, to watch happen in real time. Like, so many people that I respect just don't give a singular fuck about sharing a thing anymore. And that's why I've been kind of like going back on this, and I'm like, dude, why am I gonna be this just nonchalant shit poster on CT2, and like I'll do the thing. I'll share my thoughts. I don't give a shit if I'm right or wrong. Who gives a fuck? Share my thoughts, and so be it. Someone will learn something from it. And people are definitely gonna the thing is, dude, people don't even give you props when you're right either anymore. They just like develop a baseline impression of you. Like Owen, if he came back and he was right about a bunch of stuff, people are still gonna clown him for the one bad call that he had. We want these stories as human beings of these gods among men, and we want them to never do any wrong. Like, dude, GCR got everything right for like 10 years or whatever, and last year, I think at this point on Bitcoin, he was just like, remain bullish or whatever he said, don't capitulate here. And then we went lower like a week later, and people are like, holy fuck, GCR's washed, he's terrible, he's a whatever, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. You cannot skip SPX. Yeah, you're right, I shouldn't. What are these doodles? So I guess the last time somebody asked me about SPX was right here. Probably what I said was hold support, hold the daily trend. If that fails, gap fill to the weekly. Looks like that played out. Let's get a fresh take on this guy. Okay. The easiest and simplest place to bet on SPX is going to be at the weekly trend if you're given it again. If this thing continues to round out at the daily, right here, right? And puts in higher highs and higher lows and starts respecting this trend again, you can bet into the trend. That's yet to be seen, but that would be the backup plan, right? If you can do something like this. Otherwise, I mean, you just kind of hope that it trades down to the weekly. We front ran it the last time, obviously because of the very clean high time frame SR level that this thing has developed. But yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible for me to make game plans when something's at mid-range. When something's at mid-range, I just kind of go like, this is not something I'm very interested in. It's neither trading, at a premium or a discount. There's nothing really like easy to action here. When the daily trend gives out and starts trading flat instead of an uptrend and a downtrend, it provides less contextual value. You're going to need the market to start showing you once again that it respects the daily trend by a couple tests of it. Then you can start betting alongside of it again. The easiest place to make a high EV bet on this is probably like the last time somebody asked me about SPX, which was down at the daily, or down at the weekly, right? Front ran it by a little bit, but still gave you a really, really, really nice discount to play with. From here, if I had to take a trade on this, I would probably wait another week or something like that to see how this starts playing out, to give me a better like trading setup framework. As it is right now, I don't think it's the easiest setup to build with. Last cycle was so much more fun compared to this one. I mean, I wish I had experienced it. It's hard for me to have a reference point. I was around last cycle, but I was like busy in real life, bro. I was still like in school doing stuff. Like I wasn't no-lifing this. I missed everything. All I did was buy spot Bitcoin and spot Ethereum. I started trading some alts like at basically the top and the later stage of the cycle. I didn't really know much, so I didn't know what I was missing while I was still kind of like semi whatever involved in crypto. I liked crypto, but I didn't really know shit. So it's hard for me to like compare and be like, oh, last cycle was so much more fun. I understand that people made probably a lot more money and it was a lot easier and everything like that. I've enjoyed this cycle. Being active every day in this market for the last 2-3 years, I've enjoyed it. So, I mean, my framework and my reference point is this cycle, and I think we should be blessed to be living in this time where we can make so much money on crypto, man. Like, don't take it for granted, because it will actually just probably get even worse, you know? You still bullish on grass? Not since it lost the listing anchored VWAP, I think in January. Haven't really I think I traded grass like once since then. This isn't my chart. There we go. Somewhere around here is like the last time I was bullish on grass. This is where I closed my position that I bought from listing day. I did try to take a trade on this when we flipped the listing anchor in this location. I wanted to really be bullish here, and this all just failed. Thanks, Cash. I'll buy all your rounds if Pepe hits a 10x. I wouldn't count on Pepe hitting a 10x at this point of the cycle. I already locked in the 100x on Pepe. That's my first and only 100x in my career. From here, as long as Pepe does something respectable and goes back towards its December highs, I'd be very, very happy. That's all I'd really want. 2x or 3x from here is be phenomenal. I wouldn't even care if it did anything more than this. This is more than enough for me. Get into this location, 20 to 25. I'm beyond stoked. Humans are inherently flawed is the only exception I have for anyone. Oh, is the only expectations I have for anyone. Yeah, we're all flawed, man. 100%. What are your plans for alts if Bitcoin breaks out and starts accepting above all-time highs? Buy trend retests on the strong coins. Consider joining SPX Cult. I'm good, bro. All these things, it's to me, it's who cares? They're all gonna do something similar. If SPX goes 50% higher than FARTCOIN, or FARTCOIN goes 50% higher than SPX, it's all the same. It's too late in the cycle for me to care that much. I think there was a certain point where it was very high EV to be in the right cults and stuff like that, especially when coins are early on. At this point in the cycle, it just feels silly to care that much whether you're an SPX maxi or a FARTCOIN maxi or something else maxi. Similar market caps, right? I think, is SPX higher market cap or FARTCOIN? I would assume SPX is a higher market cap right now than FARTCOIN, right? You twisted my words there. Pakaris Vet? Twisted my words there a little bit. I see your point. A little bit disingenuous try to quote me like that. Are there any top 100 coins you expect to 10x at all? Not off the top of my head, no. I don't think so, because FARTCOIN's $1, so yeah, maybe 10x to 10 billion. Pepe made it to 10 billion. Maybe FARTCOIN can do that. I think that's too consensus of a target, though, and it'll probably front run that unless we get some crazy Bitcoin to 200K type of move. My targets are getting much more conservative than they were, right? Why? It's so easy to be bullish on crypto at 16K. It's still really easy to be bullish on crypto at 30K. It's still really easy to be bullish on crypto around all-time highs at 50 to 60K. At 100K, at 120K, it gets harder and harder to want to take excessive risk. You want to take excessive risk early in trends. You want to take excessive risk when things are discounted. The higher and higher things get, the more conservative you want to be, right? Temper your expectations and be pleasantly surprised, right? Who's going to be upset about things going higher than you could imagine? Who's going to be upset about that? No one. But setting your expectations at this point to be like moon boy targets, what that's going to do for you is in the moment, you're not going to take profits because you're so highly convinced your coin is going to fucking 40x that when it 10x's or 5x's, you're going to be like, yeah, this profit's not good enough for me. That's the way I see it. That's just my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Do syrup? Sure. Insane. What do you guys think I'm gonna say? I think you guys know what I'm gonna say. What am I gonna say? My alts are really cheap. Sui can 10x? Maybe? I have zero conviction that Sui's gonna 10x, but hey, maybe. I think the thing is right now, there's two camps, right? Camp one, let me explain the two camps of the market and why I think both of them are reasonable, right? I don't think one of them is more wise than the other, right? So camp A, the camp that I'm in, this is the camp that I'm in, just for the record, right? Like the one that I'm setting myself up for. Bitcoin is in a regime where we get catalysts and events, we mark up, and then we rebalance for 8 months, and we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, right? That's the way that I look at Bitcoin. I say we mark up based on a catalyst, we run into supply, you know, people wanting to take profits, whatnot. We rebalance, we find new buyers, enough Bitcoin exchange hands, we go higher, we go higher, and we go higher. Eventually, this regime will exhaust, where each kind of expansion will get weaker, right? And we won't go up as high as much, right? And we'll start retracing back to the origin of the last impulse, right? This is going to be kind of like the end of your market cycle. Better and better and better news will keep coming, right? And less price impact will occur. Less expansion will occur. The other cohort of market participants is saying all of this is just the buildup to an inevitable 2021 style alt season where Bitcoin dominance will fall off a cliff and all of our altcoins will 1 billion X. And that's the same thing that they said at 60K, and that's the same thing they said at 100K, and they're going to say it again, right? And will they be right or will they be wrong? I have no idea. I can't make predictions like that. I have no idea. If that happens, we're all going to be rich. You know, who's going to complain? Amazing. We're all going to be super happy. Everyone's going to make tons of money, and most people will give it back, but that's neither here nor there, right? Great. I think having that idea in your mind is totally fine. And I don't think you should be berated for thinking that, you know, maybe we'll get a 2021 style alt season if Bitcoin dominance makes it a 70 and this can happen or something like that. Or maybe even some overextension, some short-lived period where altcoins just go crazy. It's within the realm of possibility, but I think that the data that I'm relying on and using and the framework that I have is simple. It's just like, this is a Bitcoin-led dominant market. We've got flows. We're getting more and more and more attached to the S&P 500. The TradFi controls the coins. The flow of money is a little bit more obstructed now, where money is not flowing from Bitcoin to altcoins. Money's kind of getting trapped. The wealth effect in crypto has to come from crypto native coins like Hyperliquid and stuff. That's the way that I see it, right? Maybe that's a more cynical approach, but it's also inevitable for crypto, right? That's the case of a maturing market that becomes less and less speculative and more mature. So I think Bitcoin's going that route, right? That's the kind of bandwagon that I'm on, is kind of expecting Bitcoin leads, alts follow. The alts following is kind of like your risk on season when Bitcoin marks up, right? So what is the biggest altcoin rallies this cycle have been? Bitcoin marking up out of consolidation, Bitcoin marking up out of consolidation, these are your alt seasons. This is where a shit fuck ton of money is being made at these cycles. And I think once again, whether it comes from this consolidation or whether we drive lower, when this rally comes, this will be your alt season once again. And I'm probably not going to default to thinking, you know, Bitcoin marks up, altcoins mark up, and now my altcoins are just going to go even higher, right? Because that's not the meta that has been established. So I won't go out on a limb and make that call, but maybe things will change by the time, you know, things come around. Like if we're in that environment and I see something different, right? Maybe I'll change my mind, but yeah, that's the way I see it. Brock, you got it. Nice trend, buy dips. We're talking about syrup there. Yeah, syrup has a very clean daily trend. Tips on not a TP too early. Focus on trends. TP when trends break. Very simple ABC way to avoid taking profits too early. I'm assuming it probably stalls at the retest of prior all-time high until it reaches the daily trend of Bitcoin is going to go up. Were you thinking about syrup? Yeah, I think syrup, the easiest buy is just simply bet at the daily trend if you're betting on trend continuation. What do you think about the thesis that next cycle will be left translated? They said the same thing about this cycle, Gustav. I don't know if you were around, but during this time right here, the most consensus narrative by everyone in the market and all these cycle theorists was left translated cycle, left translated cycle, left translated cycle. They said it to fucking death. And look at where we are. We're in the middle of 2025 and we're so much higher. People called cycle top here. They said left translated cycle. They said, you know, this thing's going to zero. We've been topping. We're going to go to 30K. Like, so I don't know. I don't have any thesis on left translated cycle. I don't even concern myself too much about 4-year cycles. I'm just focusing on the structure here. I think when Bitcoin starts doing this thing where it consolidates, marks up, consolidates, marks up, and when it starts doing the thing where these drives are getting weaker and we start retracing back into the prior consolidation, that's where I'm going, yeah, this cycle's cooked and it's going to take time to reset until we can build a new trend. So that this cycle will be super long, supported by institutional flows, followed by a prolonged bear. How do people like predict that? People just like making crazy predictions, man. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Bob Lucas pointed out in his last video. I mean, yeah, I have no thoughts on that, man. What do you think the rate cuts will happen? Yeah, man, if you're new to my streams or new to me in general, I don't concern myself with macro rates, FOMCs, Jerome Powell's, wars, geopolitical conflict, non-farm payrolls. I stick to what I know, and I try to focus on doing that well. Everything else to me is noise and distracts me from my game plan. That's how I see it. So I try not to branch out too much and speak on things that I don't know about. Y'all better farm Polymarket. You can farm Polymarket, so just basically make bets on Polymarket and get an airdrop. I'll do that. What am I betting on? Tell me the first Polymarket bet. Give me the odds, give me the trade, and I'll copy trade you for my first Polymarket trade. 2-hour public stream is wild. Yeah, I think we're up on 2 hours. So we'll wrap it up. Last like 5 minutes or so. You guys came with good questions today. Fun one. I think Doc has 4 hours in him today. I definitely don't. Did Alcaraz win, by the way? They went 5. Yeah, he won in the 5th. Jesus Christ. Why are we going 5 sets with Fognini, dude? C2M? What about him? You watch Animal Kingdom? I don't. Like the channel? Or is that like a show? Oh, no, that's Animal Planet, right? It's probably a show. I don't watch it, though. I think Bob might be spot on with that theory with his track record. I think he said a million things that were wrong that people just forget about. The classic influencer thing that people do, that people fall into this trap, is you just highlight what you're right about and tell everyone what you're right about 500 times, and they forget all about all the things you get wrong. People tell me about Bob Lucas all the time. I have friends that are very interested in Bob Lucas, and I've remembered him being wrong about... He said left translated with this cycle, guys. Talking about left translated, he was one of the guys that kept saying this cycle is going to be left translated. Now he's saying next cycle is going to be left translated. If you would want to accumulate Pepe and whiff and spot, what price range do you look at? I actually bought some Pepe over the weekend at like 90 something. I bought it Friday night and Saturday morning, so I'm already starting to pick up some Pepe down here. I look at this as like value to buy. I know this is a super wide range to buy Pepe in, but I just break it down. I say that's range high, here's range mid, here's range low. If I can buy towards the bottom half of this range, I'm happy for accumulation. Jesus has a 3% chance of returning this year on Polymarket? Yo, that is free money. What are the odds for that, though? Isn't it going to be like 1 billion to 1? I guess it's still free money. It's still free money. What games have you playing? I've been playing Elden Ring. I've been playing Elden Ring for like the last month. I think it's one of the best games I've played, but also... in a weird way, it's not fun. Does that make sense? It's one of the best games I've ever played, but I'm like stressed out fucking playing the game. Like, you shouldn't be stressed. You shouldn't feel like I'm going to play a game to unwind, but then also the game fucking stresses you out, bro. I can't walk through a doorway without knowing something's going to jump attack me. I mean, Bob admitted to being wrong. Most will delete tweets. That's good, man. Good on him. I'm just saying, like, what's the lesson? Like, if you've been listening to me yap for the last hour, we talked about a bunch of people. We talked about a bunch of predictions. I'm trying to drive home a common point, right? Like, if you watch the stream for the past hour, you'll get where I'm coming from and what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, fuck predictions, and people are allowed to say things and be wrong. Actions matter more than these random predictions, right? Someone brought up EXO is bearish in February. Guess what? Everything's nuked since February. He called cycle top. Yes, we're back at the highs, right? And they're trying to clown EXO for that. And I'm saying, bro, he's executing really well. Who cares, right? We talked about GCR and Kobe. They were bearish after FTX. They still bought the bottom. Who cares what they said, right? Like, yap doesn't matter. It doesn't make money, right? Like, who cares? Who cares what somebody is saying, right? Care what they do, right? People clowning Owen, oh, he was bullish here. Like, yeah, he was bullish, he was wrong. Do you think he's, like, zeroed himself out based on getting a trade wrong? Anyways, we've talked about that too much. Y'all gonna be real mad when you lose money. Totally. Facts, dude. Jesus comes back and he's just gonna immediately send all of us that bet against him to the fucking gulag. I also put my money on the line at 16K. I also bought 16K. I also bought a Solana at $11 and $14. You don't see me like stroking my ego all the time, you know? I don't think there's people out there glazing me that way, that they're glazing Bob for doing the thing that hundreds of us did. Your code is believed, for Christ's sake. Forgive me. I have used. Can we look at RIVN? Okay. All right. Last like two. All right. Last three charts, and then we're gonna call it a stream. First three that I see. I saw RIVN. Okay. I mean, the best thing that you could say about RIVN is probably showing momentum loss at the lows, right? That's the best thing you could say about it. Yes, it went down only. It's made a bunch of drives lower. It's now been rounding off over the past like year. So February 2024, we're in July of 2025. The bottom on RIVN's probably in. The problem with RIVN versus a crypto fucking coin is you could just say, hey, crypto's run out of supply. Right? Like whoever wanted to sell this coin, sold this coin, and whoever's remaining with it's probably just going to hold it till they die. Right? That's the easiest analysis you can do on crypto. With stocks, that doesn't really matter. Stocks can actually just fucking trend to zero because they run on fundamentals. So if the company goes under, this thing can 100% break down and go to zero. What I will say though is like this has been rounding off for multiple years. So if you're bullish on RIVN for whatever reason, and you want to bet on this stock, it's the same exact analysis. You're trading within a range. You're trying to buy at a range discount, right? You're trying to buy at mid-range or below for accumulating the stock. KT and grass are getting crushed. Yeah, fuck grass, dude. We haven't cared about grass in a long time. Perfect exit for that. I also bought the bottom. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Hey, who cares? Let's move on. I'm coming down on people a little hard today. I don't mean to do so. I don't mean to sound like that. I was trying to drive home a point, and similar kind of topics keep coming up, so I keep circling back. SANCH USD. This better be a trading view coin, my brother. Oh my god. This is a wild. This is a wild kind of walk up right here. Nah, man, I don't have anything that I could add to a coin that's like a liquid like this. I'm sure this is a lower cap coin. It's hard for me to give analysis based on my systems on like lower cap coins like this. All I would say, and my advice to you, is like look for trends that are trending. Trend is not trending here. It's kind of just dropping above and below it. So we're not going to care too much about trends. Weekly trend flat. This is walking up. If this was any other kind of chart or coin, I'd be like, this is probably all going to get zapped. If it's a low cap, they can just keep walking it up without perps, right? Yeah, I don't have anything super like objective. Me personally, I see a chart like this, I say I'm not trading it, right? If I look at a chart for like 2 seconds and I'm just like, yeah, fuck this, I'm just not going to trade it. So I can't really give you this objective analysis on how to trade the coin. The easiest thing that I would say is like, if this breaks down but holds these lows, right? If this does one of these, fuck you, fake out, run everything, and holds here, this would be a good opportunity to buy some, with your invalidation being holding below. And that's it. Chill Guy is still a solid meme. I think the CHILLHOUSE coin is doing better. We're going to do CHILLHOUSE for my homie Nexus, who's been shilling me this coin for like a month now. We're going to do it for him. This coin looks better. So if you want to buy the chill whatever memes, buy the CHILLHOUSE. Probably looks better. Until the daily trend breaks. Yeet the coin if it trades under 7.5. Hold below here. Fuck this coin. It's probably going to come back down to the lows. All right, boys. That's it for me. I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Bonkbot. Link in the description box below. And last but not least, if you want to check out Paragon, today is the last day for the discount codes. Again, the code is BELIEVE. If you're paying on crypto, it's already built in. If you're paying on credit card, put that code in at checkout. Sign up for the whitelist on Bonkbot. And yeah, do all the things. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Peace out, guys.